All right, let's dive into a really powerful book today. Anis Jung's Lost Spring, Stories of Stolen Childhood. This isn't just a collection of stories, it's a deep, hard look at the lives of children in India whose youth is basically stolen by poverty and exploitation. It really analyzes the system that keeps them trapped.
This quote from the author's own introduction, it just perfectly sets the stage. We're going to be looking at two stories that show this reality with, honestly, heartbreaking clarity. So, our first story is about a young boy named Sahib. We meet him right in the author's neighborhood. And what's he doing? He's scrounging through garbage, a sight that, let's be real, many of us might see, but we rarely stop to truly understand what's going on. Now get this for a piece of incredible irony. His full name is Sahib-e-Alam, and you know what that means? Lord of the Universe. And the thing is, he has no clue that's what his name means. Here's a boy with this grand, magnificent name, and he's roaming the streets barefoot, and his kingdom? It's a heap of trash. Sahib lives in a place called Simapuri. It's technically right on the edge of Delhi, but as the author points out, it's miles away from it, metaphorically. It's a settlement of about 10,000 squatters, mostly families like Sahib's who had to flee their homes in fields in Bangladesh way back in 1971. And for them, survival here means one thing: rag picking. What's so fascinating here is how garbage can mean two completely different things to different people. For the adults, it's just a harsh reality. It's their daily bread, it's their shelter, it's survival, period. But for a child like Sahib, it's something else entirely. It's like a treasure hunt. And that's really the heart of it, isn't it? This quote just perfectly captures that childlike point of view. It's not just trash to him. It's a place wrapped in wonder, where finding a single rupee or maybe even a 10 rupee note creates this little flicker of hope that just keeps them digging. So as the story goes on, Sahib's life takes a pretty big turn. He gets a job. But the security that this job offers, well, it comes at a huge cost. See, before, when he was a rag picker, he carried this simple plastic bag over his shoulder. It was light, but more importantly, it was his. He was his own boss, free to roam wherever he wanted. But now, things are totally different. He works at a tea stall, and he has to carry this heavy steel canister. And this canister, it isn't his. It belongs to his employer. It becomes the symbol of his lost freedom. He earns 800 rupees and he gets all his meals. Now, on the surface, that sounds like a step up, right? Better than the uncertainty of digging through garbage. It's stable, it's predictable. But even with that regular income, something really essential has been lost. The author notices that his face has lost the carefree look. That steel canister, it feels heavier than the plastic bag ever did, because it carries the weight of being owned by someone else. Sahib is no longer his own master. Okay, so now let's completely shift gears to our second story. It's such a powerful contrast because here we meet another boy, Mukesh, who insists on being his own master. This is how we meet him, not through his situation, but through his dream. He announces it almost defiantly: I will be a motor mechanic. He wants to learn to drive a car. But his dream? It seems like a mirage, this beautiful illusion, all because of where he lives. He's in Firozabad, a town famous for its glass bangles. For generations, almost every single family here has been trapped in this profession, working around blazing hot furnaces, welding glass, in a cycle that feels absolutely impossible to break. And the scale of this is just staggering. If the laws were actually enforced, they could free Mukesh and 20,000 other children from these hot, dark workshops where they're just slogging away all day. And so many of these kids, they end up losing their eyesight before they even become adults. It's awful. So you have to ask, why is this cycle so unbreakable? What's going on here? Well, it's not just about being poor. It's about a deeply, deeply entrenched system of exploitation and tradition. This quote from Mukesh's grandmother, it really gets to the heart of the cultural baggage they carry. She's watched her own husband go blind from the dust of polishing bangles, and she just accepts it. She calls it their karam, their destiny, a God-given line of work that they were born into and can never, ever escape. And if that cultural resignation wasn't enough, there's a brutal economic reality piled right on top of it, a vicious circle of exploiters that just crushes any attempt to break free. You've got the moneylenders, the middlemen, the police, even the politicians. They all form this chain that imposes this baggage on every child born there.
The author sees these two distinct worlds colliding. On one side, you have the family, trapped by poverty and the stigma of their caste. And on the other, you have this whole world of exploiters, running a system that basically thrives on apathy, greed, and injustice to keep these families right where they are. So in a place like Firozabad, to even think of doing something else, to dream of another life, that takes daring. And daring, well, it's just not part of growing up there. But in Mukesh, the author senses a flash of it. When the author points out that the garage where he could learn is a long way from his home, Mukesh's response is so simple but so powerful. He just says, "I will walk." He doesn't even hesitate. The distance doesn't matter. His dream is his fuel. And that's where we're left. We have one boy, Sahib, who trades his freedom for the security of a tiny wage. Then we have another, Mukesh, who dares to dream of a life that's completely different from the one laid out for him. They're both stories of a lost spring, of a stolen childhood. But they force us to ask, in a world that can be so crushing, what does it really mean to dare to dream? What is the power and what is the price of that one single dream?